Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix? With the Wicks here on this beautiful Monday, December 13th, 2021. And welcome to the show, whether that be on Facebook or YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, go hit that subscribe button now. Well, yesterday we had quite a bit of games take place yesterday. A lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones, a lot of blowouts. Some teams hitting, some teams missing, obviously, like the Chiefs just steamrolling the Raiders, in which we'll get to in just a moment. And then we had a couple overtime thrillers yesterday with the Bucs, the Bills, and the 49ers and the Bengals heading into overtime. And then last night we had an electrifying game between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. And then tonight we also have a massive, massive game on the line, division matchup in the NFC West. The Arizona Cardinals taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Should be an absolute banger of a game. It is Monday Night Football, the last game of Week 14. Man, this season, I mean, it is flying by. It is absolutely going faster than I could ever had expected or ever have expected. Week 15 is going to happen next week, obviously, which brings me to, like, why the hell? I mean, are the Browns playing Saturday against the Raiders? I mean, that just blows my mind because I thought beginning of the year the NFL said, hey, you know, we're not going to move any game other than Sunday, Monday, and Thursday because we just can't afford to do that. We can't do what we did last year, have a game on literally every single goddamn game or day of the week. This year, they're just like, we're not going to move any games. I get the flexing of games, like moving teams that are good, that are playing noon games to like a Sunday night primetime game, and moving the team that was in that primetime game who sucks, just absolute stinks up the whole NFL, moving them down to a noon game. I get that whole situation. I thought we were moving games to Saturday. I mean, Saturday, whatever. I don't care. It is what it is. I just heard that piece of news. I probably should have known that a little bit beforehand, but I mean, whatever. It is what it is, like I said. But we got a lot to get to today before tonight's Monday Night Football game gets underway. So let's kind of get to it. Are you ready to get your fix? Well, like I noted, there's a couple games, a couple good games, a couple bad games. And we're going to start right off the bat with the Baltimore Ravens, who went and took on the Cleveland Browns at First Energy Stadium, I believe is what it's called there down in Cleveland. Now, before I say anything, Tyler fucking Huntley is a monster. I mean, this guy is a baller, straight up, can do everything that Lamar Jackson can do. I mean, not as good or not as well as Lamar Jackson can probably do it, but I mean very, very similar. I mean, this guy was absolutely flying around, doing his thing, running the ball. He can scramble outside the pocket nicely. I mean, he's able to throw on the run. His speed's next level. I mean, it is literally the perfect backup quarterback that for Baltimore to have. I mean, it's very identical to what a Lamar Jackson is, and I think that's, that has to be the case because it makes it that much easier for, like what happened in this game. Lamar Jackson goes down with a high ankle sprain. You have to send in the backup in. Now do we change your game plan? You really don't have to now with Tyler Huntley playing pretty identical to that of Lamar Jackson. So that helped out tremendously, kept him in the ball game basically the whole time. Baker Mayfield, though, he's hurting. In a big way. He actually had to take a couple snaps off because, he re-aggravated something. And it's going to be interesting to see how this goes forward because it makes you wonder, like, if he gets to the playoffs, the Browns make the playoffs, how healthy
does Baker Mayfield stay? And I honestly, like that's a real question to kind of be had. And like, is this guy, is he going to go into the playoffs, get hurt right away in case Keenum kind of has to take over the rest of the way? Then you're kind of like, oh well, good luck out there. Or I mean, does he stay healthy, lead this team to the playoffs and beyond, sort of thing? It's gonna be interesting to see how Baker heals going forward and how he plays as well, because a lot of teams, knowing all his injuries, the labrum, the shoulder, the knee, every single one of those injuries, you're gonna be thinking, okay, this defense is literally going to tear him apart, going to go after those injured areas of Baker to take him out of the ballgame, to get him out of there, put the backup in, and really kind of go from there. But hey, the Cleveland Browns held on for a huge, huge win yesterday, beating the Baltimore Ravens 24-22. Now, like you guys see there on your screen, Baker did have 2 touchdowns. He had an interception, but not many yards. He'd probably have over 200 yards if he didn't sit out those 5 or 6 plays, whatever it was, where Case Keenum had to come in. But, I mean, geez, look at fucking Tyler Huntley, folks. I mean, look at this dude. 27 of 38, 270 yards passing, a touchdown. They really couldn't get anything going on the run, but Devontae Freeman had 13 carries, 64 yards. He also did get, I want to say, 40-plus receiving yards as well, so that stat doesn't really do justice at all for their run game. But Mark Andrews, I mean, what are you going to do? Continues to ball out week in, week out. 11 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Jarvis Landry, like you see there, he had 5 catches, only 41 yards, but he had a touchdown. Okay. That was one thing during the whole game that I kind of took away from this. Was you seen there, Jarvis Landry, 5 catches only, 41 yards, 2 touchdowns. It really did seem like, though, that Baker was going to Jarvis literally every single time. I mean, not over-exaggerated like where Kirk was literally only throwing to Justin Jefferson because fucking Adam Thielen's out. No. It was a comfortable, all right, here's a ball. Okay, I'm going to go give a couple other people a ball. All right, now I'm going to come back to you. Here's this. It was a nice, however you want to say it, little, it was even. It felt good. It felt, it felt awesome, I guess. It felt good. But I said that 3 fucking times. Jeez Louise. Anyways, but it was a really nice, to see that he could actually go to Jarvis with not having to worry about, oh shit, yeah, I gotta go throw to fucking OBJ because he's just like, hey, throw me the ball. You never throw me the ball. I'm wide open. It's like, dude, I mean, shit, not only did I do that, multiple receivers do that in high school when you go in the huddle and you're like, dude, I'm wide open. Throw me the ball. Or like in the playground, hey, dude, what are you doing? Like, you only go to him. I mean, it is what it is. But, I mean, Jarvis Landry played phenomenal football the other day. And really, it kind of looks as if Baker is a lot more comfortable without OBJ and only having to really, okay, Jarvis is my number 1 guy. That is who I'm going to focus on. If I have to, dish and dunk these balls to Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz, David Njoku, Austin Hooper, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, so fucking be it. I'll do that. But Jarvis is my number 1 guy. That's the guy I'm going to go to, and that's the guy I'm going to try to get into the end zone. That's how our team needs to kind of grow and get better that way. The Browns need to play like this from now on. Like, that Browns team that I seen yesterday, and that the way they performed and the way they executed was perfect, at least in my eyes. I mean, they beat a pretty solid Ravens team, a team that was 8-4, now 8-5, and the Browns were 6-6, really hurting. They really needed another win to kind of put them in that playoff race and put them closer to a wild card spot, put them right there with I think it's like 4 or 5 other teams that have the similar record at 7-6. That hey, if the Browns win this one, we have a chance. If the Browns lose, or if the Browns would have lost against the Ravens, they'd be hurting. They'd be like, oh shit, now you got to kind of make up ground a little bit. And that didn't happen. The Browns executed well. They did everything they could to the best of their ability. Got the dub 24-22, beating the Ravens. At First Energy Stadium, good dub for the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully this continues to translate the rest of the season. Them playing tough, hard-nosed football, executing perfectly, giving the perfect mix of thrown passes to Jarvis Landry and then the other receivers as well. Nick Chubb, obviously he's coming off that injury. He's going to have to figure a way to pick it up a little bit. Kareem Hunt did get hurt. He's not going to be playing this Saturday's game against the Raiders. I believe that's who they play. So that'll be a fun one, a tough one. Brown should win. Obviously, I think that would be a much needed win, even though the Raiders seem to be fighting. But really, they're not, because the fucking Kansas City Chiefs just said, all right, let's go 12 rounds. How about, no, fuck, 1 round. You're done. See you later. 9-48. The Chiefs absolutely stomped all over the Raiders. Thought they might have been an okay team. I knew their identity was a team that is completely fallen apart, but this is also a team that just can't figure it out against good teams. That is. I mean, the Raiders, they're in some games real close, and then they kind of let the other team go away and trickle off away from how close the game is, spread that lead out a little bit, then the Raiders lose. It's like, oh, well, we had them right there, but, this A, B, and C didn't work out, so this is kind of what happened. No. Well, the Chiefs just absolutely said, we're just going to piss all over you. We're going to send you home in some diapers, maybe wrap that up. Here's some tissues and whatnot. Go home. All right, and it didn't help matters that the fucking Oakland Raiders before the game were, doing their dances on the logo, the huddle around the logo on the mid fucking field. Like, are you serious? What are you kidding me? So, I can't remember what team. Oh yeah, it was the Titans did that to the Baltimore Ravens, I believe, last year, where the fucking Ravens all huddled on the logo, or maybe it was the Titans huddled around the logo and were kind of talking shit, and fucking they ended up getting just pounded. Don't do that. It's like Juju TikToking, doing his little dancing on the Cincinnati Bengals logo last year after they had an 11-0 start, and then, oh shoot, we lost. Well, why'd you lose? Because you had Juju, who wasn't focused on the game at all. Probably other receivers that weren't focused on the game at all. You had Big Ben, who was gone. He was hurt. Mason Rudolph's your starting quarterback. Things just don't work out when you do that. Stop dancing on the logo. Stop fucking doing all that bullshit, because it's not going to work out. And, I mean, a perfect example of this was last night when I think it was Roquan Smith or something. Maybe it was Robert Quinn, got a fucking sack on Aaron Rodgers and decided to do the fucking discount double check right in his face. They don't work. Don't work. I mean, history repeats itself too often, and nobody learns from it. So maybe, hopefully, I guess nobody's gonna fucking realize that. But the Chiefs absolutely shit all over the Raiders yesterday, 48. I mean, to 9. I mean, jeez. I mean, look at that score. You see that? That's an ass whooping. That is, woo! I would hate to be the Raiders. That is for sure. And it sucks, because the Raiders have a decent quarterback, Derek Carr. A lot of people are putting him down and saying he's not that good, he's not this, he's not that. Dude, go look at his stats. Miles better than his brother, David Carr. And miles above half the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. It's just the situation he is in currently is just not one you want to be in as a starting quarterback. He had 263 yards, a touchdown. Yeah, he had an interception. But really, where this game all went wrong was right away. Josh Jacobs fumbles the ball, gives the Chiefs an early 7-0 lead. They stop the Raiders. The Chiefs stop the Raiders' next drive. Chiefs march down, score right away. All right, stop the Raiders again, march all the way back down the field, score once again. I mean, it was 21-0 before you even fucking blinked. I mean, geez. It was just an absolute, mobbing of a team over there. I mean, that was brutal, a brutal beatdown. I mean, out of the Chiefs all the way back. I mean, this score right here, 48-9 says yes, the Chiefs are back. But I feel like if you put a team in front of the Chiefs, like Green Bay, like Arizona, like Tampa, maybe Buffalo, but I mean, are they fucking dead? I mean, jeez. But I mean, you put those better teams, the better teams in the league, in front of the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs perform this well. I don't think we see a 48-9 beating. I don't think. I honestly think we see the Chiefs on maybe the other side of this. I mean, definitely not the fucking that 48 to 9 or whatever the fuck it is. 48-9. I just don't think we see that at all. Okay, I mean, Tyreek Hill did his thing still. Travis Kelce didn't do all that well last night. But I mean, hey, I think the Chiefs heard not only me, but John, guest host on Fantasy Football Friday with me when we were talking about the Chiefs briefly. We said, what the hell, like, where's Josh Gordon? Why haven't they been using Josh Gordon? What is going on in that situation, in that wide receiver room? Why isn't he being used? He should be. There's probably other wide receivers that are better than him. I get that. But, I mean, you want to test it out a little bit. Well, I mean, Josh Gordon ended up getting 2 receptions, 9 yards, and he had a touchdown. So that's awesome for Josh. I'm glad he ended up reaching the end zone as soon as the game was over. Bam, he has COVID. See you later. He's not going to be playing this next week unless he gets back-to-back negative tests, I believe, in back-to-back negatives in like 24-hour span or something like that. And he might be back. So I mean, basically, what this win says, what this 48-9 win says, is, hey, we want home field advantage. That's what we want. We want to be home in the playoffs, number 1 seed. We don't want to go anywhere. We want them to come to us. How about them Chiefs? Basically, is what they want to see, and the home of the Chiefs. That's what they want the whole time. That's what they want for playoffs. They want that home field advantage. Don't think they're going to get it. I still think New England might be a little bit better, especially with Bill Belichick, that mastermind of a head coach and executive. I mean, sign that man up for not only coach of the year, but executive of the year. Because I mean, 7-9 last year. Now he's 9-4 this year. I mean, it's just trucking along, going the right direction that they all thought it would in the beginning. So, hey, this is an absolute pounding from Kansas City, 48-9. That is just brutal. Very, very brutal game. Another game though that was a little bit closer. The Cowboys actually had this one. I mean, they were up 24-0 at halftime. Okay, Washington. I had Washington. Logan had Washington in our game picks. We're thinking, all right, Washington should be able to put up a little bit of a fight. They didn't until the end, actually. Going down 24-0 at half. I'm thinking, well, what the fuck just happened to Washington? Are the Cowboys really like this good of a team? I mean, they're so hit or miss. It's like, okay, their defense is either going to play really, really good or okay. Or, Ezekiel Elliott, who, by the way, stinks, garbage, get him out. He's not a starting running back anymore. Tony Pollard's doing way better. DJ Dallas is probably way better. He's not the running back. Who's the other guy? You get what I'm trying to say here. Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, look at this fucking stat line, folks. 27-20, the Dallas Cowboys travel to Washington. End up beating them. Okay, going 9-4 in the season. But look at Ezekiel Elliott. 12 fucking carries, 45 fucking yards. That's your starting running back. A man that, we did the meme, the whole, like eating, doing all that shit. Got 45 yards, and it really hasn't been too different the last 5-6 weeks. The dude's trash. Like, I don't know how else to put that. You put Tony Pollard back there, you're going to be seeing at least 70 to 80 yard games. You're not going to see these 30-yard, 20-yard, 40, 50-yard games with no touchdowns on his resume. You're just not going to see that. I mean, geez. Figure it out. Figure it out, Dallas. I mean, this stat line, it doesn't do justice. If you were able to watch the game, I mean, 24-0 at half. Dallas only kicks a field goal in the second half. Washington scores 20 points to make this a ball game. Washington has a chance late in the game, can't execute, can't get it done. But one man made this possible. Michael fucking Parsons is a beast. You cannot forget about this man. You have to like keep him in the back of your mind at all time. I mean, he's just flat out incredible. 12 sacks already in his rookie season. The record is 14 sacks. I believe that was set by, I want to say Lawrence Taylor or something like that. I mean, he's already being compared to Lawrence Taylor. He's being compared to Barry Sanders from the way, like his athletic ability, the way he's kind of, can move and he's really shifty and stuff like that. But 12 sacks already, had 2 in this game against Washington. Watch out for Micah Parsons. He's a big, big reason of why that Dallas Cowboys defense is as good as it is. In my opinion, not only is he going to win Rookie of the Year, or Defensive Rookie of the Year, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year total. Like, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Both of those are his. I mean, you might as well sign the sheet and vote on it, or don't vote on it, because, I mean, the consensus has already been made. Micah fucking Parsons is the Defensive Player of the Year. Absolute dog out there on defense. But I will say Washington has a lot of fight. I mean, being down 24-0, making that push, only holding the Dallas Cowboys to a field goal in the second half, and a lot of that had to do with Ezekiel Elliott being non-existent, like nowhere to be found. Zeke, take a seat. You ain't playing. Jeez, I mean, it is bad football from Ezekiel Elliott. Nobody, like, he cannot run like he used to. I mean, it's just not the same anymore. And it's sad, but I mean, at the same time, it's what he gets. And for, whatever. But, I mean, that was one hell of a game, 27-20. Washington almost sent it to overtime. That would have been electrifying, but didn't happen. But one game that did, actually 2 games that did, we'll talk about one of them right now, that went into overtime. The 49ers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. What a fucking game. This was a very, very fun game to watch. Back and forth literally the whole time, it felt like. But Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase together are fucking, I mean, that's awesome. They are awesome together. Just flat out stellar. These two, I mean, just go back and forth all day and all night long. I mean, look, let's go take a gander at this stat line. 26-23 is the final score. In overtime, the Bengals ended up losing. It's a bummer. What are you going to do? You got next week. But the 49ers are a pretty solid team for the most part. Yeah, they can miss on some offensive play calling, but they find a way to make up for it in the end. But Joe Burrow, look at that, 348 yards, 2 tutties. Jamar Chase had 5 of his catches, 77 yards, and had both of Joe Burrow's touchdowns. But there's one stat. Do you see that one? Like fucking... Here, I'll get my finger down there. Right there. Right where my finger's pointing. Right there. See that? George Kittle is an absolute fucking monster. Absolute monster. I mean, 13 catches, 151 yards, 1 touchdown, excuse me. I mean, he can't be stopped. Apparently, I wish I could go and see this right now, but there was like a fucking, they had like a little graphic that pretty much said, since his return from injury, he's like the best in this, best in this, best in this. I think it's like yards, catches, first down, yards after catch, like all of these little stats. I mean, it's just absolute crazy. And the reason I also say he's a monster is because this is back-to-back games of 100-plus yards. And he had touchdowns in each of them. Last week, he was at Seattle, had 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. This week, like you see on the screen right there, down below, 151 yards and a tutty. They end up getting the dub, 26-23. San Fran's no joke. We did need them to lose as a Minnesota Vikings fan. We did need that. Oh, and a little fantastic stat that I got to see today. I mean, it was kind of kind of saddening, sickening, if you will. But if the Vikings had not given up any points within the final 2 minutes of either half, and by the way, we've let up the most, and we're about to set the record, which was set previously by the Minnesota Vikings. But yeah, if we do not let any points, do not give up any points in the final 2 minutes of either half, we'd be 12-0. So how about that little piece of information for you guys to kind of chew on and swallow? I mean, that is just—it's so sad, so sad. I mean, we're an okay football team. We just can't capitalize. Our defense is playing fucking 30 yards off the wide receiver right next to the end zone, so we lose to the fucking the Lions. I mean, how? 10-1, and we lose. That's Minnesota Viking football there for you, folks, and we'll see you next week. I'm just kidding. It's just terrible that can't happen. But George Kittle is awesome. He balled out, ends up holding on or helping San Fran get the dub finally, 26-23 there in overtime. Another game that ended overtime and should have never even saw overtime was the Bills against the Bucs. The Bills took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday, and a big takeaway from this game is the Bills' running game is non-existent, right? Nowhere to be found. They don't run the ball. They pass the ball. Josh Allen didn't have a single running attempt, or the Bills didn't have a single running attempt until the second half when they ran a wildcat formation, like little weird run up the gut, get a yard or two, little why? I'm telling you right now, if the Bills can't run the ball the rest of the season, their season's over. Season's over at that point. They have no run game. And if they don't go in this offseason like they didn't last offseason, they didn't the offseason before that, I mean, shit, they haven't had a running back since Marshawn Lynch, and they gave his ass to Seattle. If they don't go out and get Josh Allen and that offense at running back, they are going to be in for a long couple years. I've said it multiple times. You establish the run game early on and often. It's not only you're gonna be a two-dimensional offense compared to a one-dimensional. And the Bills are a completely one-dimensional offense. They're gonna pass. That's easy to stop. Especially for these NFL coaches, these NFL defensive coordinators. Oh, they're just gonna pass the whole time. Okay, well, let's drop back into coverage. Let's man up on one guy, maybe two guys. Let's maybe sneak, have one of our linebackers kind of keep an eye on or follow and shadow the running back to make sure it's not going to be a run play. And if it is a run play, you got to just, you got to be on the same page. Obviously, you got to know it's a run game or a running play. But all you have to do is just drop back into coverage and watch your receivers at that point. The Bills are a one-dimensional offense, and they're not going to make the Super Bowl if they continue that. It's just not going to happen. It's so sickening. I mean, let's go take a gander at these stats right here. Josh Allen, 300 yards or 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 12 carries, 109 yards, touchdown. Josh Allen is their leading rusher. Can't have it. Won't have it. Last 3, maybe pretty much the whole season, Josh Allen's been their leading rusher. What happens if he gets hurt? He goes out there, he tears his ACL. I do not want that to happen. But what happens if that happens? Because you don't have a run game, because you don't have a running back. Bills probably win this game if they have a running back, if they know how to run the damn ball. They can't. Just run the damn ball. Establish that run game. Be a two-dimensional offense. Don't be a one-dimensional offense like the Bills. Look at Brady, 363 yards, 2 tutties. Leonard Fournette, 113 rushing yards and a touchdown. They win the game. Because you know why? If you establish your run game, not only are you a two-dimensional offense, you can manage that clock so much better. And that's ultimately what happened. Buccaneers stopped the Bills right away in overtime, get the ball, and I think they had like 2 or 3 plays total on that drive, and the last one was like a 40-yard, 30-some yard touchdown. Better blocking. I understand like a lot. I mean, like I understand that the Bucs. There's so many B's. I mean, but the Bucs have the number one defense against the run. I understand that. It's hard to run. But when you have Josh Allen running for 109 yards, you're obviously doing something right. Get a running back. Run the ball. Like, it's just don't risk hurting your franchise guy, Josh Allen. Don't risk that. Don't. And I want the Bills to do good. I really do. But they make it so damn hard. And this Bucs team make it pretty. I mean, they make it tough also. I mean, they're so hit or miss. Like, they're either going to hit perfectly. I mean, they're going to do really, really well. They're going to stomp teams. They're going to roll past them. Or, like this game, they're going to kind of, take that lead. You're going to be thinking, oh, the Bucs are going to win this. And then all of a sudden, the Bills fucking come back, tie the game, send it in overtime. And then you're like, well, geez. Like, come on, Tampa. Like, what are we doing here? Like, Tampa's offense has to play a little bit better. Just a little bit better. So does their defense, though. Obviously, they got to stop more things. They got to be aware of the pass game a little bit better. They are riddled or have been riddled with injuries at the defensive back position. But plain and simple, my final 2 cents on that game for not Tampa because they won, for Buffalo, run the damn ball. All right? T's and P's to their running back room because it's nowhere to be found. So hopefully they're all right. Hopefully they're doing well. We'll figure that all out later. But let's get to last night's game. Sunday Night Football. Fucking electrifying. What a wild game. And that was said by Chris Collinsworth on air. He's like, this is a wild game. And I was like, nailed that right on the head. Jeez. I mean, it was absolute craziness to get this started. Okay. So Bears had the lead 10-7 to start basically. And then, Rasul fucking Douglas is a beast. I'm pumped that he is actually getting the recognition, getting time to go in there and showcase his skills and what he's able to do. This man is an absolute freak of nature. Keep him on that defense. Keep him in Green Bay. Rasul Douglas is an absolute monster. But so it's 10-7 Bears. Rasul Douglas fucking pick six. How you doing? Keep it moving. Packers take the lead 10-14. And then, bam. The Bears score real fucking fast, moving down the field, just going nitty-gritty. Then it's 17-14, and then, bam! Bears take a kick return touchdown to the house. Then it's 24-14. And then, I ain't done. To top it off, right before half, a touchdown was thrown to Devontae Adams from Mr. COVID toe, Aaron Rodgers. No, he has a fractured toe. It did get a little worse in this game. That sucks. Hopefully he doesn't need surgery. That is definitely one of the cases that could happen. A lot of rehab, whatever. But he throws a fucking touchdown bomb to Devontae Adams, and it's 24-21. Bears lead with 44 seconds left to go before the half. I mean, it was absolute wildness to start the game. I mean, geez. Let's see. That's 45 points right there. It's kind of a coincidence because the Chicago Bears lost the Green Bay Packers 45-30 in a game that Justin Fields showed some stuff. I really like Justin Fields. He's looking like the future franchise guy for this organization. He looks really, really nice with that offense. Like I told John on Fantasy Football Friday, it's going to be really nice to kind of see how Justin Fields, or maybe I said this last Thursday, but whatever. You guys get it. But I said, this is going to be really interesting to see how, since Justin Fields got a chance to be the starter, now he's out, we got to see Andy Dalton. How well does he, come back to the offense? How well does that offense respond to Justin Fields being the starting quarterback, being that guy? And they did really well. They did a phenomenal job. 24 first half points, 6 during the second half. But what are you gonna do when some clown just says, "Yeah, discount double check"? How you like that? No, don't do that. Don't Don't do that. As soon as he did that, I was like, all right, this ain't going to go well. Basically, it was like, this ain't going to go well at all. You guys are definitely going to get, can I just get a, hey, Rodgers. He's not here right now, right? Hey, Rodgers. How about them Bears? He's like, I still own you. Ah! Aaron Rodgers definitely owns the fucking Bears. I mean, geez. 341 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Devontae Adams, freak. Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, similar receivers, both fucking awesome. 121 yards, 2 tutties from Adams. David Montgomery in his first game, I believe back, maybe his second game back, 42 yards on 10 carries, 39 yards on 6 catches. You know, the Bears, they're right there, I feel like. They're missing Khalil Mack in a huge, huge way. But at the same time, they don't have a standout wide receiver, it feels like. I know they have Darnell Mooney, and they have Allen Robinson, who I don't think played. I don't think either of them played. So that's a big hit. Running back wise, David Montgomery is starting to look like a dude out there, basically. I mean, he got injured earlier this year, but he's back. He's going to be doing fantastic things for Chicago. I mean, they're right there. They're on the verge of almost, being good. I mean, they're good. They're solid. They're good. They're a good enough team. But I think their record at 4-9 after losing Sunday Night Football has to do with one person. And that person, going into halftime, said this: "Hey, how do you feel about this first half from your team?" "Oh yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. It's great to be out there. We're just having a lot of fun. I'm loving this. This is great." And then comes out the second half, lays a complete egg, only 6 points on the board. How you doing? Keep it moving. Loses the Green Bay Packers 45-30. Matt Nagy, get the fuck out of town. Get out of there. Like, you are you are keeping this team back from where they should be, or from where they should be going. The Bears take 1 step up, looking pretty solid. Take 2 steps back because they're not doing shit. That's Matt Nagy for you. And then, earlier in the year, they had that, oh no, that was both of us calling the offensive plays. No, that was the offensive coordinator because your dumbass couldn't call offense because you weren't putting any points on the board. It is what it is. But, otherwise, other than this game going 45-30, Green Bay obviously getting the dub. How you doing? Aaron Rodgers still owns you. Go on Google. Who owns the Chicago Bears? Aaron Rodgers probably pulls up. I don't know. I'd have to assume, obviously, after last night's game. But did you see Aaron Rodgers' doppelganger? His fucking twin was in the stands. Did Aaron even play last night? Did we watch the Green Bay Packers beat the Chicago Bears with some bum off the street? Rodgers was just chilling in the stands. It seemed like, just chilling, putting his feet up, watching the game, and then even he points, he looks at the camera and huh? Jeez. That was pretty crazy. Identical. One had a little bit bushier beard. That was the guy in the stands. Don't know if that was Rodgers or not. He could have been. We could have had Joe Schmo out in the field. Maybe that'd be interesting, because if that was a Joe Schmo out in the field, how bad is Chicago actually? It makes sense though how many points they put up. What a wild game. That was a very, very wild game last night to witness. And let's go take a gander at the rest of the games around the NFL. Here we got, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Urban Meyer, you're terrible. You're absolutely garbage. There's all those reports, if you guys haven't heard, coming out of and Urban really taking shots at all these guys. And then apparently Urban says he brings the whole team together and goes one by one through the whole room. Hey, what are your accomplishments? What have you done to get here? Oh, okay. How about you? And Marvin Jones, who AJ Hawk reported as he played with him for 1 year, humble, sings for the team. He sings gospel apparently. Super, super nice, outgoing. Kid doesn't he will die for a team basically. He loves the team he's on at the time. But Marvin Jones, once Urban Meyer was doing that, did this exactly. right, I'm out. See you later. It's basically what happened. He's like, I ain't doing it no more. Urban, get the hell out of town. I don't think Jacksonville survives with Urban Meyer as their head coach the next couple of years. I think at the end of this year, you call it quits. You call it over and done with. I know one and done might not be ideal for teams that had the number one round draft pick who have had losing seasons basically since they went to the AFC Championship, I believe, in 2015 or 2016, one of those years or something like that. Like, I understand that, but Urban Meyer is just not the guy. I mean, he went to his chop house with 2 fingers, with a girl who's 23 years old. Urban Meyer taking mine is like 50 something, maybe 60. I don't fucking know. I mean, the dude is just. He's stuck in his college days. Okay, he thinks he's a college coach. He's got a couple rings from in college. And by the way, no one gives a shit about those when you're in the NFL. The only thing they care about are Super Bowls. How many Super Bowls you got? Urban, you have 0. Shit, you have 2 fucking wins this year. 1 in London, 1 in the United States. Get out of town. You ain't changing the culture. Nobody buys into your bullshit. Nobody believes you. And when you start taking shots at every single person on your team, shit, I wouldn't play for you much longer. I'd rather go do something else that is worth my fucking time. It's just so yeah. You see that Nick Vrabel absolutely stomps Urban Meyer 20-0. Tennessee Titans move on victorious. You got Seattle taking the dub against the Houston Texans. This was going to happen, but look, I know 33-13 seems like a big game, and it is a big spread. But Davis Mills, who took over for Tyrod Taylor, who ended up getting benched because he had a poor outing against the Indianapolis Colts last week. Davis Mills can ball, guys. 331 yards passing and a touchdown. No interceptions in this game for Davis Mills. Now, there might be some things he can clean up, obviously, but 331 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers is really, really good in my eyes. That's awesome. He just doesn't have the talent around him to win him ball games. Davis Mills, I mean, you can cuss at me if I'm wrong, you can yell at me if I'm wrong, but Davis Mills might be a future starter in this league, if not now. Like, I mean, obviously he got the start yesterday, so he's a starter. But I'm saying a legit, wherever he goes, number 1 guy, going to be your starter, maybe backup, but more than likely you're leaning towards him starting. So Seattle wins 33-13. Then we got the New Orleans Saints. I mean, they missed Alvin Kamara in a big way. I mean, and that score right there shows you 30-9. Okay, the Saints had Alvin Kamara back. Taysom Hill got the start. Put up a phenomenal day in fantasy football for everyone around. Probably didn't start him if you guys didn't know. You probably didn't do that. I didn't because he's not my quarterback. I had Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford in one league. I think I had Justin Herbert. So, I didn't need to do anything with that. But then you look over at the Denver Broncos. They got the dub. Lions were going to win. They just won their Super Bowl. Lions lost 38-10, but Broncos got a big win in a sad day, in a Memorial Day for Demaryius Thomas, who unfortunately passed away last week, actually on Thursday. And just an unreal, unfortunate situation. And they got a big win. I mean, they even started the game with 10 men on the field. In football, you start with 11. They started the game with 10 men on the field, took the delay of game in honor of Demaryius Thomas, end up fucking spanking the Detroit Lions 38-10. So good for Denver, and good for the Lions for not spoiling that day, I would say. So then you look at the Atlanta Falcons. They beat the Carolina Panthers 29-21. Na 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 na. Hey. Goodbye, Cam. Cam Newton, get the fuck out of town. In the last 11 games with Carolina, Cam Newton is 0-11. 0-11 in his last 11 starts, And it has just been announced today that Matt Rule, going forward, is going to continue to split reps with Cam Newton and PJ Walker. Because you know why? Because they are not confident in PJ Walker enough to keep him as the starter, or to put him as the starter, and they are not confident enough to put Cam Newton as their starter for a whole game. The last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But Sam Darnold's almost healthy, almost ready to come back, so he might be the guy. Get Cam out of there. Cam is garbage. He got benched yet again. He's not good for football at this point. I don't think so. Not good for any team out there. I mean, he might be good for football, but he's not good for Carolina at this point. He's not good for a lot of teams, I think, at this point. He's a running quarterback. He's going to get more rushing touchdowns than he's going to get passing yards or passing touchdowns because he can't even complete a pass. That's quarterback's job. Go out there, throw the ball to the receiver, make sure he catches it, put it in a pinpoint, accurate location. Cam can't do that at all. Like, there's no chance in hell he's going to be able to do that. It sucks. So Atlanta wins there, so bye-bye, Cam Newton. Then you look at the Giants taking a big fat L to the Chargers, 37 to 21. Oh, and going back to that Jaguars or Meyer situation, Jaguars losing 0-20. Trevor Lawrence reminds me a lot of rookie Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's rookie year, 26 touchdowns, 28 interceptions. Trevor's rookie year, 9 touchdowns, 14 interceptions up to this point. Trevor is on pace for 12 touchdowns and 18 interceptions. So kind of similar. Peyton had more of each. But I mean, when you have the team and the head coach that Trevor Lawrence does in Jacksonville, it's gonna be tough to do anything. I mean, I think that's plain and simple. It's gonna be real tough to do anything. So those are all the games from yesterday. But tonight, we have a Monday night football showdown between the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams. The money line currently at minus 150 for the Cardinals, plus 125 for the Rams. The Cardinals are 3-point favorites in this game. I'm assuming that spread probably changed a little bit because I believe at the beginning of today or this morning it was like they were 2-point favorites or something like that. But let's just put it this way: the Rams, Jalen Ramsey, Darrell Henderson, who else is it? There was a big name. Jalen Ramsey's out. Darrell Henderson. There's like 5 or 6 or 7 people for the Rams team who are so that sucks for them. This is gonna be a fun game. This is gonna be a really, really fun game. Cardinals are 10-2 on the year. Rams are 8-4. I have the Rams winning this one. I did that last week. At least I'm pretty positive I picked the Rams. I think I was the only one. Yeah, I was the only one to pick the Rams on this one. So I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I do think if there's going to be another game that the Cardinals end up losing this year, there's a good chance it's going to be this one. They do play. They play the Cowboys, I believe, like later on in the season. They do play the Seahawks. But I think this instead of the Cowboys, like if they don't win or if they don't lose this game, if the Cardinals don't lose this one, they're probably going to lose against the Cowboys. That's what I would assume to kind of happen. But I mean, hell, they probably won't lose it again. I mean, Kyler Murray's back, DeAndre Hopkins back, Chandler Jones is back, J.J. Watt hurt, but A.J. Green's still there. I mean, they're balling. James Conner's still there. The Cardinals are a good football team. But like I said, if there's a game I feel like they might lose, it might be this game. It's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a battle. Rams are banged up, so let's see what Matthew Stafford really has in store for the Arizona Cardinals. This is in Phoenix. This is at I don't know if it's the University of Phoenix Stadium anymore. I think it's like something I don't even remember off the top of my head. But Monday Night Football, there's no Manning cast, so it's on the regular broadcast on ESPN. And ESPN Deportes or whatever it's called. So expect it to be a good one. The over-under is 51 points. Oh. Yeah, if I were you, I'd probably take the over. But at the same time, I mean, it could be a nitty-gritty, fight till the very last second type of game. And I mean, even if it goes over 51 points, I mean, that's at least 25 26-25 right there for each side. I mean, that's a lot of points, but that's 4 touchdowns for each team, 3 touchdowns maybe. So I'm excited. Big day probably for Kyler Murray. Big day for Cooper Kupp maybe. Maybe for OBJ, unless he's hurt. I don't think I see anything on that. Matt Stafford. So I'm excited for this one. Hopefully you guys are too. But that is all I have for you guys today here on this beautiful Monday, where we have football. Week 14 ends tonight after the Cardinals take on the Rams. So go enjoy the rest of your night. Watch tonight's game on ESPN the Deportes. And we will be back here tomorrow, like always, for True Identity Tuesday. Have a great one, folks. And you just got your fix with the Wicks.